Hello and welcome to our TCB Podcast, the podcast where we explore the people, processes and also perspectives shaping the world of clinical research. I'm your host, Alexandra, and today we are discussing a topic that resonates with many professionals across our clinical operations. What leadership doesn't always see, the reality of clinical trial delivery. Clinical trials are often viewed through timelines, milestones, budget and performance metrics, but behind every study are teams navigating complex operational realities every single day, balancing site needs, patient recruitment challenges, completing priorities, and also unexpected obstacles that don't always appear in leadership reports. Today's our guest, Hlib Kryzhanivskyi, has experienced clinical trials from multiple perspectives, progressing from clinical research associate to project manager. That journey provides a unique understanding of both frontline execution and also strategic oversight. Together, we will discuss what operational teams wish leadership knew, why visibility remains a challenge despite having more data than ever before, and also how perspectives change when moving into project leadership. Welcome to our podcast and thank you so much for joining us today, Hlib. Before we start, can you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure, and thank you for welcoming and for such a warm welcome. My name is Hlib, it's spelled as Hlib, and I am a project manager since 2020 and got more than 10 years experience in clinical trials. Also, I am PMP certified and worked in CRO and also in FSP environment. So I believe my view to the point will be quite useful for any user. And also I'm really glad to share the points of clinical teams and also somehow protect the leadership teams from the pressure.
Okay, thanks so much, Hlib. So let's begin with also your experience on the front line of clinical trial delivery. And as you just told, you also worked and started from CRA and currently now project manager. And when being CRA, you collaborated closely with CTMs, clinical trial managers, and now lead studies as a project manager. Looking back at those experiences, what do clinical teams wish leadership understood better about their daily reality?
From this perspective, I found that I won't clearly agree with the statement that leadership doesn't know the details of clinical operations. As majority of leaders have in their background also positions of CTMs, PMs, or even CRAs. So they knew the pressure of database log, they knew the pressure of selecting of new sites and others. So they knew the things, but they got just different perspective. For example, if we got the case, CRA and the team face the database log. And from operational perspective, it's quite valid statement that all CRAs got their monitoring visits. Also, they have fires they need to take care during their day-to-day work. And from the management perspective, it sounds was quite defensive, and also they raise questions. And these questions are, what are the FTE assigned to this study? Then we have other questions, like was this database cleaning already included in the scope? Was the additional efforts required? What caused the data quality issues, if we have them? Were any previous risk identified and were they reported? And what caused the corrective actions need to be implemented? So we got plenty of questions, and almost all the questions lead back to CRA. So we have the reason why it happened sometimes, but we don't have the solution. And it gives like really big gap and really high pressure on the CRA. Anyway, as sometimes it just sounds you just need to do it. And it's not the case, and also not the cultural approach. So we face clinical perspective that states that we don't have enough resources, and we have management perspective on the questioning why do we know about it only now when we are facing database lock. And here we go to another part that I wish clinical team, especially CRAs and CTM, know that management really struggle to keep the client, and especially to keep the client satisfied. And just coming to management with the information that we just won't do it is not an option. And I wish clinical team understands the pressure and also make some steps forward to help to resolve this case. So I wish clinical team come to management with not only a problem but with a solution or probable solution, and management team also review the possible solutions and also make some steps to the clinical team to help them to resolve it.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I do hope the same, that sometimes when our team they can come to the management, but they are just not listened. The management don't want to listen; they want to receive the results, and that is so. It's definitely not the option. And completely agree that many leaders, they can see timelines and let's say deliverables, but they may not always see all these challenges that our teams can face in achieving them. Okay, so let's move, Hlib, to our another challenge that many organizations, I assume, continue to face. Today we have more technology and also more data than ever before. And yet many teams still struggle to gain a complete picture of study performance. Hlib, what do you think organizations continue to face feasibility challenges despite having so much data available?
I think the main problem with all the organization, not only now but in past also, it's not about data. It's about data interpretation. So we know that we have, for example, for feasibility, we have like plenty of sites and their performance, but we can only guess what's going on currently at this site, as any study is different one from another. Even we know the exact indication, even we know the profile of the participant. Investigators could only guess what will be happening during the nearest years of the study. And of course, it's not about only feasibility. As all the reports, all the spreadsheets, all the financial systems bring the data that not reflect the reality, like actual reality, but the most recent reality available. So you get like all data collected on Monday, but presented on Friday. And since Monday to Friday, like plenty of things could change.
If we will have got a gap.
And this gap brings the insufficiency of data to make a decision. So I personally prefer to look not exactly in the report, but into the trend. So the main case here is not data visibility or data availability. It's about data interpretation, preparing for unplanned cases, and also looking in the study not in the best case scenario, as usually we have like best case scenario sold on the bid defense, as it sells better. but in reality, we face like normal scenario and sometimes the worst case scenario. And sponsor also should be informed about these both scenarios to agree on the actions what we will do if.
I like, Hlib, your comments regarding what we currently are offering during our bid defense and in our reality in the current world, because I'm really surprised since we like two parts of this let's say process, sponsor and also CRO. We all know that now we are in the bid defense. We would like to receive this new trial, but our, let's say, some data, they are not real. So anyway, we can accept it and afterwards revise. No, obviously it shouldn't work in such way. If we are in the bid defense, we, I believe, should show all the scenarios, and as we see, it will be like most realistic one, but not afterwards make any changes. And in such case, our leadership, they will definitely ask us, oh, okay, guys, what happened? Why, if we compare with our initial source, with our initial vision, now we have got absolutely another data. So, yeah, I like this source. Thanks.
Also, this question is always vital. But if we got one CRO that presents the real scenario and another one that presents the best case scenario, we could easily guess who will win.
Yeah, obviously, but anyway, all our sides, they know that, okay, now we would like to win this bid, but never, if we compare, let's say, even our budget total for the trials, if we compare the initial approved, like our proposal, with the initial contract, when we will have got the signed contract with the sponsor, they will never be the same or almost the same. No. Sometimes we even can change our countries. Because because in our bid defense process, we would like just to win. And that's why we say, okay, we will go with this country because we know that enrollment will be much quicker and our margin will be much higher. But afterwards, we realize that, oh, no, it's not the option. That's why we will need to change. So it's also about our timing, I would say. And
yes, it's definitely about timing, and also definitely about the communication between sponsor and CRO. As I faced like plenty of cases when sponsor decided to change the countries. They changed their initial strategy. They wish to change the countries, and they expect CRO to keep the same budget. They expect it, but they are not getting it, definitely.
no.
And it also creates like quite a large amount of tension that then lead to misunderstandings, sometimes trade-offs, definitely.
And I would say it's not only about communication between CRO and sponsor, but also internal communication. Since how our leadership can know that, let's say, we might have got some issues on this side, just if only their CRAs will tell them. If not, if the CRAs they decide, oh no, it's okay. I will just decide not to say something because I don't know, because of any other reasons. So in such case, our leadership will think, okay, we might have got more patients to be enrolled here, but in reality, it will not be so. In reality, we might not even know about some like hidden issues. That's why we should communicate, and all our team members, they shouldn't be worried about saying aloud, especially if they see some gaps or some negative issues that should be resolved. Okay, Hlib, so let's talk about your transition into project management, and also like you briefly told that later we would discuss about some like hidden activities. So when you were working as a CRA, your focus was naturally very operational and also like site-centered. And as a project manager, you became responsible more for a broader picture of the trial. I have got here like two questions for you. The first one would be, what surprised you most about clinical trial delivery after becoming a project manager, and also what did you learn about like budgets, resource planning, and also study oversight that you hadn't even fully appreciated, fully thought before moving into your current role to be a project manager?
So for the first question, the main point that surprised me, not I won't say even surprised, as I was preparing for the role of project manager through project lead, through senior survey, so I have had like hours of discussions with CTMs, PMs, and so on. What are they doing, and also all these meetings that brought wide view on the study. While I am a PM, I see to increase FTE, I need to prepare the change order. I need to get argument with sponsor. I need to justify why this FTE need to be increased. And it like one question from CRA bring hours of work for 2 p.m. So it's wider picture, more pressure for communication, of course, and also always finding trade-offs. So it's like wider perspective, but more strategical view on the same process.
Okay, Hlib, thanks for sharing. And so before we finish, I would like to ask you like the latest question, maybe even like advice, based on your journey from CRA to project manager. If you could give company leadership 5 recommendations to better support clinical teams and also improve study delivery, what would they be?
Yeah, it is my pleasure. So the first one, create the psychological safety and constructive dissent. That means people really rarely challenge leadership openly. And in my experience, when leaders say that need to be done this way, it's always silence. Sometimes someone agrees, but in general it is silence. So everyone could speak openly, and the decision will not be complete before each concern is addressed.
100% agree.
So giving psychological safety to the team and giving them ability to speak openly bring sometimes unexpected concerns that could save the study. For second one, distinguish between resistance and valuable concerns. As I speaking previously, we need to clearly understand what it is. Just resistance, so I don't want to do it because I don't want to do it, or it is a concern based on some data that I personally don't know yet. Also, the clear risk that the team should define the clear risk triggers. Not only identify the risk and what will we do if this risk appears in our study, but also what should be the trigger to initiate the mitigation plan upfront. Also, separate escalation from information. One, but not the least one. Require solutions, not only problems. As once you train your team to come to you not only with the problem, but also with their perspective, it increases the growth of each individual.
Okay. Okay, Gleb, thanks so much. These are excellent recommendations, I would say, and also a strong reminder that our successful clinical trial delivery depends on like both effective leadership and also a deep understanding of operational realities. As we have had today, the reality of clinical trial delivery is often more complex than what can be captured in like reports or metrics or dashboards. and from the challenges faced by frontline teams to the difficulties created by disconnected systems to the broader responsibilities that come with project leadership, there are valuable lessons for organizations looking forward to improve both study performance and also team engagement. Thanks so much, Hlib, again for sharing these insights and also your experiences. And thank you so much to everyone listening to TCB Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share it with your colleagues, and join us next time for another conversation about the future of clinical research. Until then, thank you for listening.